So last person who I want to bring up today before we get into lunch and then Superclass and all the other stuff, awesome stuff that's happening today, is Aaron Foss, who's another awesome builder who's built something awesome on top of the Twilio platform, and that is Nomorobo. He's the founder, and I want to bring him up to tell you his story. Aaron?
Yep. Hey there. They say that the worst place to be in a conference is like between everybody and lunch. So here's where I am. But I'll be short and I'll be entertaining, so then we can go and eat. The reason that Twilio brought me up here is to show a very unique application of the Twilio platform. We've gone through a lot of different things of IVRs and text messaging and things, but the product that I created and ultimately built into a really big business is way, way, way off the beaten path. So my name is Aaron Foss. I'm founder of Nomorobo, and we stop all of those robocalls and telemarketers from blowing up your phone. So, and yeah, by the end of this, we're going to solve your problem. This guy's ran. So. By way of giving you a little bit of street cred, this is how I found out about Twilio. This is the TechCrunch article that was written that I just kind of just blew my mind. I'm like, wow, Twilio is going to make all this telecom that I've been playing with since I was a teenager easy to use. If you notice the date, it is February 9th of 2010. Okay, that was almost 8 years ago, which I think is like something like 56 in like Silicon Valley years. I should have a long gray beard, and I've been dealing with a lot of this stuff. I know a lot of people here have been programming on Twilio probably as long as I have. A lot of you people are probably new. Just really exciting to see. This is what the Twilio website looked like, okay? You know, look, send and receive SMS and beta, right? Like that was a long, long time ago. And as everybody has been talking about today, man, has Twilio come a long way, right? You can pretty much do everything with it. And you know, when most people think of the telephone system, they think of like this, right? We pick up our phone. It's like, oh, hi, how are you? And, oh, I love you. And, I love you too. Right? It's adorable, right? And the reality is much, much darker than that, right? It's really bad out there. Smoke monsters, upside downs, everything like that. And this is kind of where I come in, right? So show of hands, how many people have gotten a robocall, right? Yeah, exactly. Everybody's hand should go up. If you're not, you're either lying or not paying attention. I'm hoping for the former. Yeah, according to our data, 41% of all of the calls that we analyze are illegal, unwanted robocalls. It's a massive number. And it was so massive that actually back in 2013, the FTC themselves said, we can't solve this problem, right? How many people here are on the do not call list, right? Doesn't work anymore. How many people block every number? Doesn't work anymore, right? Even the FTC is like, yeah, everything that we're doing isn't working. And they, which by the way, I've actually gotten yelled at from the FTC from saying that. I'm not, we'll keep this right, I'm officially not allowed to say that the do not call list doesn't work, but it doesn't work. So anyway. So they ran this contest. They put up a $50,000 prize and basically said, like, who out there can solve this problem? Now, I'd been developing on Twilio for so long, and I realized what the key to this was to make something very simple for consumers to use, and also that didn't need the carriers to cooperate. Now, again, you go back before Twilio, this was impossible. Remember that big graph on there of having to get engineers and having to get all. With Twilio, I spun up my initial prototype in a weekend. It actually took me longer to put together the video demonstrating my product than to actually code it up. Let me just show you how it works. Okay, so the way that it works is we're actually piggybacking off of a service that's available on VoIP carriers right now, and it's called Simultaneous Ring. Okay, and what this does is it lets this is for landlines, it lets your home phone ring at another place at the same time. So you're basically, we're all familiar with the term API, right? Basically using Simultaneous Ring, let me create an unofficial API into every phone system out there, right? I wish every legacy carrier was as good as Twilio. They're not. So let me just show you. So the user will put our phone number in their Simultaneous Ring list, and every call that comes in also rings to Twilio. Twilio sends it over to our servers. And on the surface, blocking robocalls might seem like it's really simple. It's actually incredibly complex. It's also really difficult to make sure that the bad robocalls are kept out, but the good ones are allowed, right? So school closings, police, fire, weather. And so our system is obviously an oversimplification, but we have a large blacklist that goes and detects new robocallers' numbers 6 times an hour. We have a large whitelist, which is like national debt relief, right? Those guys, their calls should be allowed through. And it's all built on call frequency analysis on our consumer side. Another little secret actually is we built up a whole honeypot. So if you guys, we actually buy all of Twilio's dirty numbers. If you guys ever need to go and grab one of the phone numbers from Twilio, you will find out that they're actually incredibly clean. They don't get robocalls. Well, all the numbers that do get robocalls, we actually go and buy and use that for our detection algorithm. We've set up machine learning algorithms and AI classifications. And then finally, consumers actually will wind up going and correcting it. Hey, this one got through. This one should be allowed through. And again, on the Twilio code, which you can go and implement even in Studio, is we reject the call if it's a good call, meaning it keeps ringing in the consumer's home. And if it's a robocall, right, we answer it, stops ringing in their home, and we hang up on it. And we literally did this last month 27 million times. We blocked 27 million robocalls last month. We analyzed 70 million calls. So remember what Danny said, right? They're doing 70,000 outbound calls a day. We get 3 times that every hour. So to show you the scope, we power all the major VoIP carriers, and it's all built on Twilio infrastructure. In 4 years, we've stopped 400 million robocalls from coming through. Right? That's really pretty cool, right? The do not call list, I don't know how many it's prevented, but I know that in there is, shouldn't keep saying that. You know, how many life savings were in those 400 million calls, right? We all think that it's an annoyance, right? And I'm going to make a request here. I'm going to be around all for lunch and everything. Don't tell me your robocall story. I know. You took the time and you jacked them around and you played music, right? I've heard the story from it. And while it makes everybody feel really good, right, it doesn't actually help the problem, right? There are people who every single day get scammed by people who they think is the IRS and is going to come and arrest them, who think that it's their grandson or and tons and millions and millions of dollars are lost. I like to think that in that 400 million, right, there's a lot of good stuff that we did. We have our database is over 625,000 known robocallers, right? We're adding 1,300 new robocallers a day, right? The scope of this problem, as we talked about, is really, really pretty massive. I think, it's funny, it started as effectively like a weekend hackathon project, grown into 8 people that do this full time. And what's really cool, just like what Danny said, right, you can start small with Twilio and grow really, really big. This is the leading robocall solution out there. And actually, this data also powers our mobile apps. Now, fortunately, Twilio cut you out on the mobile side, right? We have an app that we push our database down to. It updates every hour. We have an app available on iOS and Android. So that's the thing. If anybody wants to go and try it on out, it's a free trial. And what's really exciting too is now we're kind of like making like a snake eating itself, right? So Twilio is helping us to build this platform. We go and gather all the data. We stop all the robocalls. And now we're making this available via API in your Twilio applications. Go into the add-on marketplace, click install, and boom, just one code change, and you get a spam score. And yes, that is actually a real developer. Twilio's that simple, right? I know, I was excited when I found that one too. The first one that I had was not as good. It was like a dog barking. Anyway, this kid's adorable. And really it's funny too, because if you look at the buttons, like it really should just say like, Twilio SMS and Twilio like programmable voice. Anyway, you get a JSON packet, it gives you the score, right? Should you answer this or should you not? And you can go and implement it right in your call centers and your Twilio solutions. I'm going to bring this kind of full circle here, right? Today has all been about engagement. And while robocalls, you might think, okay, this is a cute little story and, yada, yada, yada. How does that increase engagement with your customers? So let's bring, these two back. This time, though, it's going to be you and your customer. And when you can go and eliminate all of these robocalls, right, what can you do? You can get your customers to an agent quicker. You can go and eliminate a lot of the costs and annoyance associated with this. When a customer's calling in, right, your reps don't need to get as much of this garbage traffic that's coming in, that's taking up their time, taking up, their finite resources. And I think the biggest part is there's a little bit of a shared responsibility here too, right? The more people that use robocall blocking, the less effective robocalling is. And therefore, the less effective robocalling is, the less robocalls there will be, and the less there will be a need for this. So this kind of is like a virtuous cycle that I'm pretty excited about. And so ultimately, again, using Twilio, using Nomorobo, and the collective mind power of everybody in this room, right? We want to get more to this of like, your customers love you, and you love your customers, and everybody's doing a great thing. So thank you. My name is Aaron Fosk, and this is Nomorobo. I'm going to be hanging out here for a little bit, and cool. I want to see what you guys are going to build.